when it comes to securing the scene as a professional driver, it is important to know what to do and what to expect, especially when the unexpected happens. So you want to expect the unexpected and know what to do when that unexpected moment happens. You must deal with immediate problems and gather and report accident information in a timely manner, because this is crucial. Time is of the essence, and there are steps you can take to achieve this. First, you want to stop immediately, and this is part of securing the scene of the crash or accident. You want to stop immediately if you experience a crash, because if you fail to stop when you're involved in an accident, it is a serious offense. And as a commercial driver's license or CDL holder, if you're convicted of this offense, meaning if you're convicted from not stopping in the scene of a crash or within that crash, then that means you'll be disqualified from operating a CMV for 1 year. And that's in section 383.51 and section 391.15 of the FMCSRs. And it can result in hefty fines or jail time. So you do not want to be in that position. And it's a fact that it's against the law to not stop or leave the scene of an accident. So when a scene of an accident, when that happens or you experience a crash, stop immediately. Then move your vehicle. It's always important to always stay calm when involved in an accident. Safely move your vehicle as far from the road as you can, unless doing so would increase the danger or cause additional damage, or it will inflict injury to you or anyone else involved at that scene of the accident. Then next, you want to shut off your engine, turn on your four-way flashers or emergency headlights, set the emergency brakes, and then check yourself for injuries. And note, many states have laws that require drivers to remove their vehicles from the road when involved in a minor accident. But the main goal is to prevent or avoid any additional accident or injuries that can happen due to a hazard of a stopped vehicles on the roadway. Now, part of securing the scene is to have your warning devices. So Fuse-E is a form of a warning device. Fuse-E is a colored burning flare that's used as a signal to warn other road users. It's a burning flare. Then you have a liquid burning flare. A liquid burning flare is a warning device that is ignited in order to warn other users of the obstruction or something that is in the road. Now, with warning devices, you want to act quickly and safely to help get the scene under control and prevent a bad situation from getting even worse. And that's according to section 392.22 of the FMCSRs. And the regulations require that emergency warning devices are to be placed within 10 minutes of stopping. So as soon as possible or within 10 minutes of stopping. Then you want to set out or pull out emergency warning devices by putting your reflective vest on, then walk around oncoming traffic holding the devices in front of you. So that way you have maximum visibility, meaning other motorists, other people can see you on the side or see you on the road. And then note, where you place this device depends on where your vehicle is stopped. And that's if you're in the middle of traffic, if the lane should be placed in the center of the lane. And if your vehicle is on the shoulder, then you place them along the occupied shoulder. And the devices that you have, the warning devices, you should use 3 reflective triangles, 6 fuses or Fuse-Es, and then 3 liquid burning flares. Now, however, flame producing devices such as Fuse-Es or liquid burning flares, they are prohibited, meaning you're not allowed to use them if you have a vehicle that's carrying explosive, flammable gas, a flammable liquid, or a motor vehicle that is using compressed gas as a motor fuel. Now, when it comes to placing your warning devices, you need to know where and how far to set your warning devices. And you can also check specifically part 392 of the FMCSRs. But with placing your warning devices, when you're parked on a hill or curve, you want to place the warning devices between 20 to 200 paces or between 100 to 500 feet from your vehicle facing that visual obstruction. So you want to place other devices according to the rules of the 2-lane or divided highways. Now, when parked on a 2-way or undivided highway, you want to place the warning devices 4 paces or 10 feet behind the vehicle, 40 paces or 100 feet behind the vehicle, and 40 paces or 100 feet in front of the vehicle. So you're placing those 3 warning devices in 3 separate distances. Then if you are parked on a one-way or divided highway, you need to place one warning device 4 paces or 10 feet behind the vehicle. The other device will be 40 paces or 100 feet behind the vehicle. And then the third device, place it 80 paces or 200 feet behind the vehicle. So proper placement of each placing the warning devices. It's important to do that depending on where you are stopped. And then you want to check for injuries when you're trying to secure the scene. So if you're involved in an accident, it's possible to be injured without even realizing it because of the trauma and the actual adrenaline rush that happens. And that can actually affect your thinking when you're involved in the accident. So when this does happen, remain calm, stay calm, and just determine if you or others are hurt. Take a deep breath and regain control of your emotions, because the important thing here is safety, making sure everyone is okay, everyone is safe, and making sure we separate ourselves or people from harm or danger by calling for help. At least call for help and ask if the other party wants someone contacted, and keep them warm and dry. And then if you're able to, keep them company until help arrives. So keep them company until help arrives. And do not move an injured person unless they are in immediate danger. And if you have to, and you have no other option, then doing so too much can actually be just as dangerous as doing nothing at all, meaning that you have no other option. That means you do not move an injured person unless they're in immediate danger and you have no other option, because doing too much can actually be just as dangerous as not doing nothing at all. And never attempt or try to do something that you are not trained in. Now, when it comes to notifying an enforcement, a law enforcement, you are required to contact law enforcement. Even if the medical assistant is not needed for the individuals at the scene of the accident, you are required. You must contact law enforcement if an accident occurred or happened. And if you're unable to, or if you are attending an injured person and you're not able to contact law enforcement, then ask someone at the scene to make that call. And be prepared to provide and give some basic, crucial, vital information. So you want to give the location by giving the exact location of the accident, using markers or landmarks if necessary. Then you want to give them injuries. So communicate the number of people who are injured, and even severities of their injuries, meaning how severe is the injuries. So that way the law enforcement can actually coordinate and let the medical response team know of that situation. What do they need to have and to be prepared to save and help those that are injured? Then give them the number. You want to provide your contact information just in case if they need to contact you for any additional details. And then damage. Detail the extent of any vehicle or property damage. Then stay at the scene. So never leave the scene of an accident to notify law enforcement unless there's no other way or means to communicate at the accident site. And if you're unable to contact authorities, have someone else at the scene to perform that task. Have someone else call the appropriate authorities. That's important. Now, when it comes to documenting the accident, you want to record the information while it's still fresh in your mind, so that way you can make sure the documentation is thorough and accurate. And attention to detail here is important. Your company, law enforcement, and insurance companies will need as much information about the accident as possible. And note, some states do require you to complete the documentation before you leave the scene of that accident, while others do not. So you definitely want to be in mind of what some states require, and depending on what state that you are traveling in. Now, some details you should record and take down and note down will be the time and location, the damage description, names and addresses of all the individuals involved, injuries or fatalities, stretch or diagram, the event description with weather and road conditions, the type, the make, the model, and license number of the vehicles, names and departments of the investigating officers or the investigating officers, and then name and address of the insurance companies. This is part of documenting the accident, so that way they'll have that, and you'll have that for your records as well about the accident and what's involved in it. Then you have photographs. So having a camera or disposable camera, for example, it can be on your cell phone or electronic device. That is the most valuable tool to have at your disposal. And you need to have that readily available by taking pictures, because that will help determine how an accident occurred and how much damage was involved. So when you photograph, you need to know how and what to photograph. So you have wide shots. You want to take wide shots, meaning from the fog stripe at the edge of the road towards the vehicle of the impact, because showing that final location of the vehicles, that is the wide spot that you would need to take. Then take vehicle shots, wide shots, and then vehicle shots. So vehicle shots is from the center and all sides of the vehicle itself. Then you got close-up shots, like zooming in. You want to take close shots of the damage and any skid marks or road debris. And then avoid injuries, meaning never take pictures of individuals who have been injured or killed. And then be careful and stay safe. As you're documenting the accidents, as you're taking pictures, do not put yourself in a dangerous situation or position by wandering or getting into traffic just to take that picture. Or don't get in the way of any law enforcement or medical responders while you're taking those pictures. So safety here is key by taking wide shots, vehicle shots, close-up shots. Avoid taking pictures of any injured or killed, and then be careful and safe during that process. Then you contact your motor carrier or company. So it's critical to notify your company of the scene of the accident as soon as possible. It's not only a stressful event to be in an accident, but it makes it a huge impact for your company as well. So you're not in this alone. It's you, it's the people that's involved, it's the company, and being mindful of that. That's why you want to give them specific and key information relating to the accident. So you want to give them the same facts that you include on your on-scene documentation. It needs to be consistent to what you put in the documentation. So you also want to follow any additional company policies regarding accident procedures. So if your company has any, you want to follow those additional steps. And an example, additional steps may be to send them copies of the documentation information, to send that to them the day of, right? Fill out an accident report and give it to the company that same day. Those are examples of additional company policies. But of course, you want to follow those company accident procedures policies for your company or motor carrier, if there are any. Then follow the instructions. So know whom or who to call, because these names on your phone numbers should always be available, and it should be posted in a single place in your vehicle if possible. And then follow all the company rules. So you want to be cooperative, professional, and answer all the questions or that is posed by a company representative. Now, as it relates to contacting your motor carrier, the post-accident testing. Post-accident alcohol and drug testing is required when a person dies, if you are cited for a moving traffic violation, and the accident results in an injury requiring medical treatment away from the scene, or it's resulted in disabling damage, meaning requiring the towing of one or more vehicles from that scene. And remember, law enforcement may also require testing as part of an investigation, or if it's required by state law. And then you must remain available. So when it comes to post-accident testing, you must remain available for testing. If you do not remain available for testing, that is just the same as if you refuse to take the test. So if you refuse to take the test, it's treated exactly as the same as if you fail an alcohol test or if you tested positive for drugs. So nothing should delay or stop you or prolong any type of medical attention for those who are injured, or prohibit or stops you from leaving the scene of the accident. Or nothing should stop you from getting help and responding to the accident or to seek emergency medical care for yourself. And then your company or motor carrier must provide or give you post-accident information before you start driving for your company and before you operate commercial motor vehicle. That way you are prepared just in case if you're in an accident. You'll have all the documentation, all of the things that you need to have in order to effectively and efficiently document these things. Then when it comes to the post-alcohol testing, it's required to do as soon as possible following the accident. So when a citation is issued or given within 8 hours of an accident, that's when you are required. You have to do that as soon as possible. Then it must be initiated by your motor carrier or company within 2 hours, but no later than 8 hours after the accident. And no, a driver who is required to take a post-accident alcohol test may not use alcohol for 8 hours following the accident until or after the test. So whichever comes first. Then it's required as soon as possible following or after an accident. So when you're doing the post-accident drug testing, it's required as soon as possible following or after the accident, and when a citation is issued within 32 hours of the accident. And of course, it must be administered or must take place within 32 hours of the accident, and that is under the rules. Then any damaged vehicle, so your company representative will tell you how to handle towing or repairs of that damaged vehicle. Now, they will direct you on how to handle a disabled vehicle that could result in towing the vehicle and repairs of that damaged vehicle. Now, if the vehicle is not disabled, you may be allowed to move that vehicle and drive it to a repaired station. Now, your company may grant or give you permission to drive that vehicle from the scene, as long as it goes through a pre-trip inspection first for safety, because safety is key. Then you'll have a preliminary report or accident report. Now, that preliminary accident report is often used as part of the company's investigation into an accident. Now, this type of report is completed by the driver or representative of the company, depending on your company's policy. Hey, BET Trainer here. Listen, if you really had true value out of this video, go ahead and click that like button and share some honest comments about this video, because this is going to help other people as well see the video and get the value information, so that way they can be inspired by what you're doing right now as well. So also, if you want to get the latest updates, go ahead and click the subscribe button, so then you can be able to always be updated on the next instant video that will be put out. So again, go ahead and do that. And this video was sponsored by BET Life Services and CDL for Life.